got mics on both sides.
Great. Okay.
Starts off.
Fire away.
Lance, first impressions of getting back to fall camp, getting around.
Yeah, great to be out there. Love their energy. Again, you continue to see the growth of our team, and because retention and again, rules that allow us to do more in the summer, and you really see how that pays off. I'm sure that's a sentiment across the country, but and then as always, there's a lot of little things to do. It's day one, but really happy with how they understand what we're trying to do, the pace we're trying to get things done, how we want to practice and move things along. So again, it's good. Like people say around us, you can, spiders practice and things that we can do. That another small rule change that allows you to do a little bit more physicality wise. But got a lot of guys that look good, look different, and again, this football team continues to grow.
Are there any things that you're specifically focusing on day one that you really want to accomplish on day one?
I think I kind of hit it there. Of format, of course, our installation. What we throw a lot at them. Again, it's kind of like we got a team run session, and Andy in the offense starts off an empty, and then motion, shifts it back to the backfield. We're not holding much back in what we're doing. Motion shifts, everything that we do, and but it's a systematic progression through this that we're gonna go. I really like how we've been able to put our camp schedule together this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come together, piece by piece. But don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in day one. But again, we didn't spend a lot of time having the coach effort and put the ball away and doing those things that many times you have to really harp on in first days.
And lastly, do you have any update on Joe Krause's status?
No, I don't right now. And Joe is suspended right now from the program, and that's really all I know and can tell you from our perspective.
You mentioned the guys look different physically to you. Just holistically, how different does it look than last season or even your first season here?
Oh, we kind of talked about that in our team meeting last night, where I kind of go through, it's kind of a marathon meeting of policies and standards and expectations and all those things. And I kind of had the guys that were in the room in August of 21 and started talking about where this was at, what they see, how many people were not in the room, and to see how far this program has come. That said, we still have a ways to go, but to look at it, and then more the back of the room this is their first August, and really, though they've been here for the summer, this is really going to change in how fast things start moving for them, and that's okay, but they have a lot to figure out yet too, and to pay attention and understand the growth and the growing pains that the ones that are more in the front of the room have gone through, and understand and embrace it and ask and do those things. But yeah, I think we talked about how far we've come in physical development and understanding of the game and how we go about it, and with those things that have changed, and one of the things I think that has changed, externally, of course, is expectations, but internally, I think what's changed for the better, of course, is confidence.
For a fall camp like this, when there are so many guys that are back again, what kind of makes a successful preseason camp?
Well, again, continue to grow and work, and we always have something to work on. And saying, it starts with myself. What can we do better for the players? What can we continue to improve on? What can we expand upon? Where our growth will be in the areas that we have to continue to get better and depth, and continue that competition that we want. But so that's, and then of course we got to make sure that though it'll be a physical camp, that we've got to stay healthy, and so all those little things that all come into part of being our process. And I'm sure this one is as boring as last year's first one for you guys, but it'll take some time to keep going, And I think there's positions now that we have established starters and people that have played a lot of football. But at the same time, there's others that are still chasing and getting better and going to help this football team as well.
And you briefly mentioned health there. With all the things you're able to do in the summer, I guess, how are you guys health-wise heading into camp?
Really good. We got a few guys still in rehab. Billy Conaway's a walk-on play receiver. He was playing running back. We lost him for the season, unfortunately, in a non-contact, obviously, summer thing. So other than that, James Livingston is still, he'll be limited most of camp, but hopefully we can get him by early September. And trying to think everyone else is in pretty good shape. Guys that missed the spring, Marvin Grant, Kenny Logan, Mike Levitsky, those guys are all back and ready to go.
Obviously, compared to spring, it's obviously very early, but have you noticed any big changes body-wise with any of the guys?
Yeah, I'm going to miss some as you go through it. I know, obviously I think somebody put something out. Somebody sent me something last night. Somebody might have retweeted or something of pictures or something, but yeah, you can go through that. I always give the strength coaches a hard time about the pictures, so that's why I laugh. But you still look at the numbers of, even I think OJ Burroughs, like Marvin Grant, those are two guys that have changed. I think some of you look at our defensive linemen, Devin Phillips. I still think DJ Withers continues to grow. I think there's Caleb Taylor's a guy that's really changed. Now Caleb's had struggles keeping the weight on during this time. He really loses a lot. So, but I think he was pushing 310. And I can remember our first year he was playing as much football as anybody, and I think he was under 270 playing defensive tackle in conference play. So keeping that on as best we can will be great, and hopefully we can get Caleb in a really good spot. Spencer Lovell's a guy that Spencer's lost some weight and moving a lot better than he did in the spring, and he's going to help us. I'm missing other guys, so I apologize, but I'm giving you a quick off the cuff of if there's someone else that sticking out. I'm sure I'm going to walk out of here saying, yeah, I should have mentioned this guy, but there's some guys in there that have really kind of continue to do it. Matt and his staff. Hayden Hatcher, I should have said, Hayden's one that really, put on close to 20 pounds, and I think he's still moving at a rate that what makes him effective is that he has such a great motor.
Lance, I saw Reeves out there punting. Where do you see the punting and the place kicking?
Yeah, that's still a little early for me there. I like the way our kicking situation is. I really am confident of, where Seth, we did a little bit that at the end. Seth Keller's done a nice job. Charlie's been very consistent, and Owen continues to get better in there. So I like where we're at. Tabor can do field goals they have to, but where we're at there, sometimes it's best to keep him just in the kickoff, make it a one-dimensional. So I like there. Punting's going to be, I think, a little bit of let's wait a little bit before we go there. Graydon's done an excellent job there as well, and obviously we know Reese is punting in a lot of games for us. But so it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to that competition. But hopefully we don't have to use it very much.
You had, the running game looked good when you had Devin and Highshaw both there. How's Highshaw's health?
Yeah, today went through some. I don't know. I saw him getting his ankles there, but I don't know if it was keeping his shoes on or what. Daniel's we're gonna, just the way he's built almost. It's not just through injury. It's just we got to make sure we monitor him and reps and volume and things like that, but really looking forward to have him back on the field. And then again, Savion I think continues to be steady and keep him healthy, and then Dylan McDuffie's going to be a nice addition as well. And I feel good about that position. Johnny Thompson for a freshman, he doesn't flinch. And he's very coachable. He's going to learn as we go through this thing a lot today about how we go through it in that real practice pace. But Johnny's going to help this football team as well in his time here.
2 years ago today, you walked on the practice field for the first time in the fall camp. How much has the program come in 2 years?
Oh, it's night and day difference probably in so many different ways, and one is just knowing, us knowing our personnel and our players, knowing the coaching staff and the expectations and the system, and so it's just the flow of the day. I've talked a lot about alignment, all those different things. Now we're at the benefit of the bowl game I've talked about. All those things help us. That really going out there today for day one wasn't like it was there were, like I said before, rule modifications, some other things, but we've been out there a little bit with them this summer some days. It almost seems like it's a continual flow instead of that, that beginning that we were 2 years ago, as you alluded to, and rightfully so, and all those things, we never were going to look at it, but I don't think we knew how drastically behind we really were, because you just put your head down and go, but looking at where it was and where other people were at that time. But it's been really neat to see the maturation of those guys that were here for that and where they're at now. We're talking about some things last night, and I said, okay, what's different in those things? And hearing Lawrence Arnold and guys just rattle off things that they see differently, and that's that confidence and trust that these guys have now. Yep.
Coach, you mentioned the confidence. A lot of that comes from last year, the strides you guys made, but how much do you see guys attacking the opportunity to once again come out and prove themselves and again continue to take steps forward?
Oh, I think they're hungry. There's no doubt. Progress, yes, but anywhere where we need to be, and whether it be in record and other, there's a lot of things, especially when we looked at the back half of the season. They're not satisfied in any way, shape, or form. And then you add new people and you do things. I think we'll have a good understanding of that. I let it be known to them as well that we are no place for complacency in where we're at. Yes, progress has been made, but there's still a lot ahead of us.
Coach, just what for you and your staff, right, coming in 2 years ago, what just motivates you and your staff to be great, right? To keep building this program.
I just think it's a challenge to be the best you can each and every day in many different ways, provided best experiences we can, but it's still demanding, and it's hard work, and I think so whether it be in the daily part of improvement to motivate and get young men to be the best version of themselves in every way, shape, and form. And again, the thrill of competition, each and of itself, of what each fall brings. I found I was driving in yesterday, and I was like counting on my. I never really even took the time to get how long I've been doing this, and then it's way too long. But it seems every August is rejuvenation, and feel fortunate and blessed that we get to coach young men and this great game. And I think we've talked about it in here about the fact that we've got this, the same assistant coaches and good nucleus, the same people and support staff, and all those things of consistency and alignment that are really going to hopefully pay dividends for this program. And I think that's the other thing for myself as a head coach, is when you see, a staff of professionals that, all for the common good to make this program what our fan base and university deserves is also exciting. And so many exciting things that our administration and things that are coming down the pike here is even more so that this should be a very fun fall camp and season.
Lance, you talked about this vaguely with regard to the guys that have been here and guys like Lawrence the other night saying, hey, we know this. And also the back of the room to the front of the room, those guys too. But I wonder specifically with a guy like Nowitzki, you know, when you look at him and what you had to rely on him for when you first got here and how it's progressed with his leadership and all that. I mean, are you looking at him now and it kind of enjoying that, hey, Mike's not the only one that knows what's going on up there and we've developed this thing and maybe not relying on him as much as you used to, obviously?
Yeah, I do. You know, he's really a unique young man in just so many ways of how quickly he adapted. A, to offensive line after playing tight end in high school. B, moving to center and never flinching. And I think it might have been game 2, but you know, playing at Penn State in front of all these people. And it was like we had a 4-year starter that he was replacing. And we went and watched the film, and I remember our line coach was saying that it was, or maybe it was Scott already there, that it was like we hadn't missed anything, and it was quite a compliment. And the steadiness and leadership, but yet without ego, that he really goes about it is really neat. I think the blessing in disguise was that he didn't go through spring practice. Mm-hmm. So we had a little taste of that, and others had to do other things, and we moved some guys around, but somebody else had to lead in that offensive line room and a little bit more besides just the quarterbacks as well. So I think that was, and of course, a little bit of wear and tear was taken off of him too while he was recuperating. So all that's good, and yeah, you kind of make me think, and here we are. That to me is almost like a November, December question, because you want to enjoy the time you get with these guys, and there'll be others like that, and Rich Miller will be one. You know, Kenny was even had a little moment on the field today where he's asking if I was, Coach, I'll be one of your favorites, right, when this is all done, and it's unique that guys are reflecting that, hey, it is the last first day and all those type of things. But again, I think hopefully they enjoy the journey this year as well.
With Mike, when you had that conversation about him joining you here, did this go exactly how you pictured it then? Did it exceed your expectations with him specifically and what he's brought to you, your program, and this program?
I don't know if I've shared this with you, but when I accepted the job here shortly thereafter, he sent me, if I ever rated, which I don't, as you know, but a top 5 text of sincere appreciation, love, all those things, but understanding at the same time. And as I've said before, being from Western New York and also, we never thought that him even leaving that area was even a possibility. And then when he looked at it, then all of a sudden he did enter the portal, but then all of a sudden a lot of people came after him, and so it wasn't a slam dunk, and then we had to go back through. But he understood, and again, for what he's done, I've said it here before, even what the seniors of the 21 season talked about is how he helped teach the offense, but did it in such a way as an underclassman that was really, really well respected. And again, he's probably everything we thought, but I think the way it was accepted and embraced, I think has been better than we even could have imagined.
You talked about wanting the defense to improve this season. Did you spend any more time with that group over the course of the offseason?
Yeah, I have. Again, I'm not going to second guess, more than I ask questions about everything about what we've done schematically and what we're doing. They'll tell me things we have to look at. And I've said this before, there's a lot of reasons why we have maybe where we've been. I still think in the uniqueness of our development of how things have maybe turned quicker offensively is probably put a little bit more look at. Maybe we haven't completely where we want to be. It kind of plays out to being true that it was kind of said to me when I took the job that year 1 was really year zero, but it's obviously in every mind that there is no such thing as year zero because we're looking at it as a third year. And when you transition some things schematically like we have, there were some gaps in what we're doing positionally, and there still is. And I said, I think we got better in a line about how we're going to coach from the up front to the back end, and I look forward for us taking those gaps. But will I spend more time with the defense? I probably, because I know you're going to ask me more questions. So, again, I've been with Brian 17 years. I've been with Chris for a long time. There's a lot of things. There's like all of a sudden, guys, don't forget, and there's some things that we've got to do holistically in the program, and there's things I've got to do better for them. And I'm confident we'll take the right steps defensively this year.
Coach, there was a time when this program couldn't have a spring game. There were just not enough offensive linemen, and now you've got this, maybe not an embarrassment of riches, but significant depth that you cross-trained in the spring, interior 3, with guys on the outside. Where are you now in fall, and what you learned in the spring about, okay, this guy's probably going to be a tackle, this guy a guard? Do you do less of that cross-training at this point once August is here?
Guys have to get settled in the routine and who they're working with, but we'll continue. Cross-training can be in individual drills or pre-play. We train a lot of guys to snap and do those things, but it's day one, so we got to line up somewhere. But as we go and watch, and we will continue probably as we approach. I don't know. I didn't ask Scott, exactly, but I would imagine we get around close to double-digit practices. We'll start, but we'll mix and match, and then unfortunately a guy misses a day or something happens, and then you've got to look at all those reasons why we did that in the spring. So I like where it's at. A guy like Kelvin Clements is getting a lot of work with the twos. I look at the flexibility of what Dominic Pooney gives us and Michael Ford. That gives us a lot of, and like I said last year, Kobe Baines continues to impress. Spencer's the one that's maybe made the most change body-wise that I think is really going to help us interior-wise. So I like it, and I think it's going to create great competition, not just the depth that we're looking for.
What did you see with Pooney, a guy to go from the MIAA to starting at guard, and now he's potentially got Jalen's backside at tackle? Did you see that potential somewhere deep?
Like before he arrived, or after? No, a little bit. We didn't know how he's had, but it didn't take us long last camp that he was going to be able to help us. He didn't, and he was a tackle. We felt as camp went on last year that his size and he was gave us a physical presence in there that we needed, so we asked him to move into guard. And and then late in spring we kind of bopped him back out to the left tackle spot, and and then in the spring game he went back and played center. It was neat. So he is a special guy for us, again, and very underrated, I think, within the league. So somebody's got a phone call, I think, coming in. But we're fortunate to have him. There's other guys, and I think for Scott, Fuchs, and Andy, or any of us that have coached at the Division II level, we've had the chance to work with guys like that. I know some of you guys have been here a long time. I remember the name Chris Bober that played some with the Chiefs. Okay, we had him up in Omaha, and he showed up at 235 pounds and then left at 315 and played quite a while in the league, and very versatile player as well. And in some regards, Pooney reminds me a lot of him.
Skinner had to play early in practice, and only 6'5" guys going to be able to go up and get it, but to not fall on the ground, to stay in bounds. He did all of the things right, and potentially you would think his game has another level. Is part of that just the competition in the receiver room where, 5 to 7 guys are gonna get significant snaps, and he wants to be one of those guys.
Yeah, I think so. I think, Quentin, he stayed healthier. He's put on weight. He's probably one of the guys I should have talked to. He's still with that frame, but he's definitely, I think he's close to 200 now. And, he is, to me, just reaching some of what the things he can do and staying healthy and understanding and going through it. And the thing he has with it now, he's got nice confidence that goes along with it after making plays for us last year. I think that receiver room is going to be highly competitive on a weekly basis. And I think, Andy and Terry Samuel have, they're determined to make sure that we can get guys on the field that have earned that opportunity and find ways again to stay healthy, stay fresh, and put pressure on people.
All right.
Anybody else? Thanks, everyone.